And here we are at the reviewing area, and
this is what we're going to review. Well, okay. Like I said, there's going to be some things that's a little bit different here, but if you know what you're looking at, you know what you're looking for. Now, this guy we're going to review. This guy is saying hi. See, there he is. He's saying hi. This guy, y'all know. And this guy, y'all know. And this guy is leaving the building.
yes.
Okay, so now.
So these are what we're taking a look at here.
In 1983, there was a cartoon that was made called Challenge of the Gobots. This was year before Transformers.
Right.
This, when it come out, as far as being my generation, it was the first time we really saw vehicles that transformed into robots.
Right.
And they had a very good start. And the opening theme was pretty good. And it was different, way different than what we've seen before. So it's like, this is worth checking out. So we did. So, to open it up with Challenge of the Gobots, the three main people that you would, Guardians that you would always see in cartoons was, well, let me go ahead and do this. We're going to move him out the way. We're going to move him right here. And the leader. Excuse me.
Just trying to see if this will work. And Yep, there we go.
There we go. So, y'all know who this is. If you don't know anything about GoBots, this is leader one. This is Turbo, the brawn of the team, the brute. And this is Scooter. Scooter with the whiny voice that would drive anybody crazy if you listen to it long enough. It's like, wow, does he really talk like that? So anyway, yes, in the cartoons, he always had that voice that just like, whoa. But it was unique and it was different. And that's what made it appealing. These GoBots, they rarely had blasters as far as guns. But they had blasters that come out their fist.
Right.
So that was different. So with these, we are going to have to take our time transforming them.
Yes.
These are vintage. So we have to be careful and take our time transforming them. And just like I did 3 main Renegades with Crasher, Coptor, and Sidekill. So now we have the 3 main Guardians, Scooter, Leader 1, Turbo.
And the Guardians from the GoBots series are the good guys, and these 3 are the good guys. The others, which are the Renegades that we reviewed, that me and my dad reviewed in the past, were the 3 main bad guys, which are the Renegades.
Correct.
But now we're taking a look at the good guys here.
So it's a different faction. For like the 3 main Autobots, it's probably Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Wheeljack. For, the Transformers. And for Decepticons, it's Megatron, Soundwave, Starscream. So you're kind of looking at the same thing here. But remember, they had this going on before Transformers. So just think about who came first, the egg or the chicken. That's kind of the way that this all fell with the GoBots and Transformers. The only deal is that I'm going to get off into that as this review goes on. Because this started out good and strong. But in the end, they lost. But it's okay. It's still a part of history. So, like I said, enough of my rambling. And I'm going to let Colton start transforming these. Some of these, we're just going to have to take our time. so nothing breaks or snaps off of them
Right.
because of the age of the plastic and quality.
Right.
Okay, so
I'm gonna start off from the one that's the easiest to transform to me to the one that's a little complicated for me, but I know how to transform that. So, also, I do have something to say for Scooter here, but we'll get to him in a minute. So first, let's start off with Turbo.
correct, turbo. Now, if you noticed, let me go ahead and just hold you up right quick. These are real rubber on the tires.
Yep.
They're real rubber, but some of the rubber is pretty much worn, so you have to just kind of make sure it stays on the tire because he does roll. So he does roll. You just got to make sure. It's not like the Puzzlers where you seen the Puzzlers, the rubber all decomposed and was falling off the tires. These actually are holding up pretty good.
But here's Turbo here, and getting a closer look here. Just all casted in red here with some nice translucent blue for the front windshield with some nice detail work inside, which I don't know if it's casted in chrome or...
Well, no, this right here just had chrome painting on it. This right here is just like components from inside him. You know, I mean, you can't. There's no seat or anything like that. There is a dashboard. It's a part of him. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say anymore. It's a part of Turbo.
So this is like kind of chrome or
Okay.
or just
This right here was originally chrome painted right there.
okay.
But you see how the red's fading through?
Yeah.
It's coming through because
Okay.
some of that chrome paint wore off. Now, is there something that you want to tell them about these GoBots? And I was thinking about saying it, but I'm going to let you say it. Think about the GoBot. Feel it.
Oh. Yep. This figure and the other two do have some die-cast metal.
Very good.
And
When the GoBots first started out, they had sections of them that did have die-cast in them.
and the metal parts that I can see is on this
Yep.
front section, not the center part
Right.
that you see me moving up and down, but this section here and
Right.
even
So right there.
to right there. And you can kind of tell from the different colored reds here if it does show up on camera.
So, in 1983, guess what? Before Transformers, there was die-cast in GoBots.
Yeah. And as you can already see, it does have some paint worn on the sides of the hood. And here's the front. That does have some little silver paints for the front headlights.
No, that's just wear out. No,
Or-
that's just paint gone. That's just paint gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. I thought they were headlights, but...
They kind of look like it, but no.
And here's the side view, the back, and the other side.
All GoBots were not overly complicated transforming. They were pretty simple. And they were trying, I believe, y'all may correct me if I'm wrong, I think that they was trying to meet like more of a matchbox scale vehicle. And remember, for GoBots, you could always put them in your pocket and you can go somewhere with them and have your own little, activities with them, being fighting renegades or anything like that. It wasn't like a Transformer where it's more big and bulky. These guys you can always put in your pocket and go.
Right. And this figure does roll really well, so smoothly, because this figure does have rubber tires that my dad did said.
Yep. The rubber still holds up. The rubber's not the same quality as the Puzzler. The Puzzler, those tires just disintegrate. And that goes back to the quality of how things were done back then.
So I guess it's now time to transform him.
Mm-hmm.
So to transform him, come to the back and pull out these things, which will become the legs. And take these front wheels, which are connected by the bottom parts of the doors, and pull them out. And then take the middle part of the front hood section and flip it around to reveal his head. And boom, you're done.
You pull out them arms a little bit more. They can come out a little bit more.
Oh.
Yeah, pull out the arms carefully. You should be able to come out a little bit more. That's good. Okay. And then the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So the arms do pull out a little more. Okay.
So this guy right here is Turbo. And that's exactly what he looked like. And that's what you got when you bought Turbo at the store in 1983. Looks way different than the cartoon, I know. But it's what we had.
And getting a closer look at the head sculpt here. Pretty good head sculpt, right?
Yeah.
To just have some silver paint for the face and some black paint on the visor here, and also some little bit more black paint around the head itself. Mm-hmm. And everything else of the figure is basically what we've already saw in the vehicle mode, except he does have some chrome thighs on him.
Yes, and the arms,
which are kind of worn out. You can see. You can see the red. And you were saying something about the arms.
Yes, I was going to say the arms are the only things that can move all the way around, but if it feels like it's getting too tight, don't go.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
That's how careful. The only rotation that you get out of this thing is the arms and the head, because it flips up, flips down. There's no movement in the knees, no movement in the legs. Like I said, GoBots were pretty basic, wasn't overly complicated, simple transformations from one vehicle to the robot. So Turbo was basically known as the brute of the three. He just went off into it and just did it. Him and Crasher never did get along. Him and Crasher, they really don't like each other. Man, I guess that sets fit because they're both race cars. So, anyway, that's my opinion. Some people watch the cartoon because they love, Turbo and his brute force, and some people just love watching it. So, it's an interesting dynamic personalities that you had going on. Okay, what's the next one we're going to review?
The next one we're going to review is the leader of the Guardians, and that is Leader 1 here.
Leader 1. Now, Leader 1 really didn't want to be a leader at all. It's a pretty interesting story how Leader 1 become Leader 1. He really didn't want anything to have to do with anything, but he needed to be the leader and take charge, so this way the Guardians would stand up against Psycho and the Renegade, so he pretty much jumped right off into it. Really didn't want to, but he didn't have a choice. I believe that he's replicated after a F Falcon? I could be wrong. Y'all refresh my mind what he's supposed to be replicated after. So I knew that, but I didn't. Anyway. We had this guy too back when we was kids. We had all three of them. Turbo, Leader 1, and Scooter. This Leader 1's got some age on him. Still transforms. We just gotta be careful how we do it. Okay, it's yours.
And getting a closer look here at the inside of the cockpit here, where it does have some nice sculpted and I think painted in interior of the jet.
Yeah, they kind of made it look like a seat. And whatever else that they could put in there on a sticker sheet.
I think I can clearly see it's a sticker detail. Because I can tell by the creases and things of the stickers. But you do have some sticker detailing on these things here.
Yeah, in jet mode, they're kind of like vents, I would assume.
And everything else is just all gray plastic. With some die-cast metal. And the die-cast, from what I can see, is on...
I know what's that. Yep.
This part. This square part is die-cast.
Yep.
Well, where these sticker details are, this section is die-cast.
Yes, that there should be some more die-cast, but I believe it's in the legs. But we'll see here in a minute. It should be. Yes, like the back thrusters. Put your hands right down the back thrusters. That right there should also be die-cast. If I'm correct. It should be die-cast back there on the very back thrusters.
I cannot tell if they're... Kinda. Oh, wait.
They are.
Okay, yes, these are die-cast. I just felt a little coldness. A little coldness to them. So, he does have die-cast metal on the thruster parts on the back, and this square or rectangle piece here that has the sticker details of the vents here.
So with leader one, when you find him, most of the time he's very prone for these breaking off the very back fin. Sometimes these break off, sometimes those break off, or the wheels down here. One of the wheels may snap off. So
But these wheels, like you see here, are still intact.
yes, zoom in on that date, stamp
Yep.
date right there. I want you to zoom in so we can show them that this is real stuff. There we go.
Japan, 1983,
Bandai.
Bandai, and
That's the number it went by. MR25. That's each one of these GoBots had a number to them, a number in a alphabet. So they numbered them, which here in America we just know them as GoBots.
and the jet does roll really well from those little plastic wheels on the bottom. And that's it. So to transform him, to take these back wing pieces and make sure they're like this. Then take these wings and flip them in, and then take the back parts and extend them out.
You have to pull hard.
There we go. There we go.
Now. Okay. Go ahead.
I think, but before you flip down these wings, you have to pull the back part of the jet down, and then flip in the wings.
You are correct. That would be the easiest way to do that. Now, wait, before we go any further, guess what we was talking about? More die cast. I thought so. This whole section right here is nothing but die cast. And these are the thrusters. This whole die cast section is going down to the thrusters right there.
Okay.
So in other words, this main frame right here is nothing but die cast. Now, this is plastic. The main frame of it is die cast. Okay, so
These black things, which are the hips of the legs, are the die cast.
correct.
And that is a sticker.
Correct.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
sticker.
Now we're gonna take these things and carefully pull them out. And these are gonna form as arms. And as you can already tell, both of the arms are kind of floppy.
Yes, because the plastic doesn't have that much tension on it anymore. That's some of the problem that you have with these older. And now you got a cone head.
And finally, you want to take the tip of, the nose cone of the jet and flip it all the way around to reveal his head. And you're done.
Yes. Now, will this one here even? Yeah. This one here, at least you get a little. This one here, there's no movement in it. It's just floppy. It's because
Okay.
that plastic let loose. And like I said, they have weapons, but it's not like Transformers. They use their weapons, and they're like blaster beams that come out of their fist. That's what they shoot their weapons with. They use their fists to shoot blaster beams out of them. They don't have, per se, guns.
And getting a closer look at the head sculpt here. the head sculpt is, well, it's not accurate to how it looks in the GoBots show.
In the cartoon, correct. Yes, this was, this was what they had compared to the way the cartoon looked different compared to the toy that you bought. But that's where it comes in with imagination, and we had a whole lot of it back then.
But it does have some gold paint on the visor here, whereas in the show, Leader 1 had two yellow eyes, and this figure, I do apologize.
Go ahead. It's all right. Just go ahead.
Okay. But back to what I was saying. That this figure that does have a little. I was gonna say a little speaker thing or a mouth plate, whereas in the show he just had a normal mouth.
Yes.
Is this kind of like a
yeah, it's kind of like a mouth plate, but like I said, the toys, and then it's the way Transformers and GoBots became about was actually kind of amazing, because you got the toys, then you got the story, then you got the cartoon. So it's really weird how all this become about, but so some of this looks off compared to the cartoon. We knew that. We knew that when we bought them from Walmart. So, and other places. So, this is what we got when you bought a GoBot in 1983. So, this right here is Leader 1. The leader of the GoBots.
And everything else we basically already saw from the plane mode, except there's a couple of new things here, like on the inside of his arms here. There's some sculpted in hands here. And of course, some black paint, because this is die cast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means this black is all painted, right?
Right.
And of course, that's a sticker detail.
Correct.
And the legs is the same stuff that we've already saw before. And the only articulation is from what y'all saw already is in the arms.
Yep. So Leader 1, he was pretty much the GoBots Optimus Prime. That was Leader 1. And they would always turn to him for guidance and leadership. And sometimes he didn't always have the answers. So sometimes, it all just took all three of them working as a group to figure it out of whatever they were going up against, or trying to find out what Sidekill was up to. So I do want to let y'all know, I said this before, this is a day after the 4th of July, so we have some other people popping fireworks around, so...
That is what I was about to say after I was showing y'all off the head skull.
Yeah, so we're just going to continue on and not let that bother us. Alright, let's put Leader 1 to the side. Now this next guy had a voice that once you heard it, you could never unhear it. And it's like, holy cow. But that's one thing that made it so unique and attractive to the cartoon, because this guy had good intentions, but he could get on your nerves real quick. And he really doesn't like violence, and he really doesn't like confrontation. He would rather scoot in his scooter mode away from all that. But he was very smart. He had pretty much good intelligence as far as thinking of putting stuff together and how to make it work. And if I'm right, he can make a hologram. I believe he can make a hologram of things. Yes. To protect the Guardians. Like Leader 1 and Turbo. He can throw something up there that's not really up there. So this way the Renegades would just pass by like a rock wall or something like that. So even though he had a voice that would set you free, he was a very important part of the story of Challenge of the Gobots. And this is Scooter.
And I also want to say something else about Scooter here. If I remember, because I have seen it or heard of it but before, and that is Scooter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Scooter here is voiced by the voice actor who voiced the Decepticon leader Megatron, Frank Welker.
Are you right? I don't know.
Yes, because I have heard of it but before.
Okay.
I'm hoping I'm right, because I have heard...
Get your phone right quick. Check that out right quick before we need to make sure. I think you're right, but this guy right here, like I said, he was always getting into stuff, but he always liked the Earthlings, the TJ, Matt, and Nick. There was humans with these guys that was with them in the Alliance. Matt, Nick.
Yes.
Is that yes? Okay.
Yes, Scooter here is voiced by the Decepticon leader from Transformers, which is Megatron, Frank Welker.
There you go. I knew that they did have parts in the GoBots. I knew that. And if I'm right, Pinshore was Peter Cullen.
Yes.
Yes. So it was an interesting dynamics that they had between the GoBots and Transformers.
But let's now take a closer look here. Again, not much to look at here. Just all casted in red and black.
Now, I did have this guy. I did buy this guy. I remember buying him. So, if you want to know one of my GoBots that I remember buying, this is one of them.
But he does have some nice sticker detail, which is on here. I think this is a front headlight.
Yeah, front little headlight. And he'd actually have stickers right there, but I don't have them on his waist.
But he does have some black paint on the bottom, which from what I can see, this black here is... Well, I know this is the die-cast metal. Mm-hmm. This black here. Mm-hmm. Okay. And also, this seating area here is... Well, this part here is also die-cast metal.
Yep, the floorboard.
The floorboard. But this black here is just plastic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I know that those two parts are.
But you do have some nice silver paint on these things here, which are again die cast.
I do not know. They could be. They probably are.
But I know these are painted silvers because I can tell by the little chipping
Okay.
black.
It probably is part of the die cast frame.
And here's the bottom. Has the one wheel and two little wheels here. And this wheel here, which is not...
Yeah, it don't.
It's not a functional one.
Yeah.
But he does roll really well. And again, that is... Oh, yeah, that is it. And to transform Scooter here, take this red section and flip it up, and then take one of these here and extend one of them out, and of course be very careful. Yeah. Then, and these aren't going to form as legs. Then take these things and untap them from this front part and bring them down.
Yeah, just like that. Take the other one and bring it down the same. There you go. Carefully.
Now take this part and flip it down.
And collapse the body.
And collapse the body in.
There you go.
So it's like that. Then take these things, which are going to form the arms, and rotate them around and bring them down. And then to take what was the front wheel and this red section and bring it down to reveal his face. And boom, you're done.
Yep.
This chest part does not tap in.
No.
Right?
There you have, I think, one of the most annoying GoBots that you will ever come across when you watch this cartoon. He means well, but he can really get underneath your nerves. He doesn't mean anything malicious, but he's very involved in a bunch of things. Not meaning to, but he's kind of like the guy who always gets in trouble, not meaning to, but it just happens. Either it follows him or he gets off into it.
Well, since you said I do have a question.
Okay. But there has been some, hold on, but there has been some episodes where he goes in and saves Turbo and Leader 1. With that said, so it works hand in hand. Okay, go ahead.
So, is Scooter here kind of like Wheelie from Transformers?
Yes, you could say that.
Like, kind of, sort of?
Yeah, I can see that.
Even though...
He's a mixture between Bumblebee and Wheelie. Yeah.
But Scooter does not like rhyme like
No.
Wheelie does.
No. No, Scooter has a very high pitched voice that it's like whoa. And when you watch the cartoon, you can tell that this looks nothing. The face looks nothing like it does with the robot, but that's the same happened for Transformers. But you got to remember, this is 1983. This is 1983, a year before Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And here's a closer look at the head sculpt. It's a pretty good head sculpt here. Does have a lot of silver paint and some yellow paint on the eyes. And everything else, oh, well, you do have some silver.
That's plastic, I believe. Or it may not be. I'm not sure. That may be die cast.
Well, some silver thighs here.
One thing about Scooter is that he has more articulation than other GoBots for that time, believe it or not.
Which y'all probably saw in the transformation.
So, like his arms can go all the way around, his head can go up and down, his knees can go backwards and forwards. Mm-hmm. So that's like Turbo and Leader 1 can't do that, but Scooter can.
You cannot move the legs up unless you move his chest piece up.
Right. All you get from him is like a knee bend.
And that is the last member of the Guardians. So now let's get the other two in. Here's Leader 1 and
you can do it.
Leader 1, Scooter.
Vroom. I don't. Just picture T in your head. T.
Turbo. Turbo. Leader 1, Scooter, and Turbo.
Yeah. There you have the three main Guardians for Challenge of the GoBots. Everything else come in, then you start seeing more and more different GoBots. But these three right here were the main centerpiece for Challenge of the GoBots. And the weird thing about it is the same thing happened with the GoBots. But these were a year before Transformers, so guess what? We got the toys, and then the cartoon came. Just like Transformers. We got the toys, then the cartoon came. So some of this stuff looks way different than what it does in cartoon form compared to robot form. You know that. So, but these were not overly complicated robots to transform.
Yes.
I was almost just called Transformers. They're not Transformers.
No.
So, yep. So now we are going to get off into the final thoughts, and I'm going to let Colton
cut the camera.
Yes, cut the camera. It's just like stop. It's like, and then Colton looks at me and yes, well, okay, and we're going to the next thing. Okay, what is the next thing? Well, wait a minute, let me see. Oh, okay, yeah, we gotta cut the camera.
So stay tuned for the final thoughts.